It wasn't supposed to rain this hard. Forecasts had called for light showers and scattered storms. But what unfolded over the small town of Liberty, Texas, was something far more violent. An unrelenting downpour that soaked the streets, swelled the creeks, and once again submerged homes and water. By the end of the 36-hour storm, over 9 inches of rain had fallen. Water surged over riverbanks, down roads, and into living rooms. It wasn't the first time, and for many residents, the question was no longer if it would happen again, but when. Liberty sits roughly 45 miles northeast of Houston, nestled between lush pine woods and winding rivers. It's the kind of Texas town where people still wave to each other at stop signs, where families have stayed for generations. But in recent years, the town's charm has been overshadowed by a dark, muddy shadow: floods. Since 2015, Liberty has experienced 5 major flood events. Each one arrived suddenly, sometimes without enough warning, and each time, the damage grew worse. For some residents, it's meant gutting their homes again and again. For others, it has meant walking away from the life they spent decades building. Every time the sky turns gray, I start packing a bag, said Carla Jimenez, a 52-year-old nurse who has lived in Liberty for over 20 years. I check the river gauges. I put my documents in a waterproof box. My heart starts racing before the first drop even hits. Her home flooded in 2016, again in 2019, and now again in 2025. I've lost everything more than once. But it's not just about things. It's the stress, the fear. You don't sleep when it rains. Carla's story is not unique in Liberty. Thousands of residents live in low-lying neighborhoods close to the Trinity River or along flood-prone drainage channels. Many of these areas were developed long before modern floodplain mapping or zoning restrictions. The town, like many others in Texas, expanded fast, and in places where water naturally wants to go, experts point to a complex mix of factors that make Liberty, and dozens of similar towns across southeast Texas, uniquely vulnerable to repeated flooding. First, there's the geography. The region is flat, slow draining, and crisscrossed by rivers and bayous. When heavy rain falls, it is nowhere to go. Second, there's rapid development. Over the last 2 decades, Houston's growth has pushed further into surrounding towns. Developers cleared forests, paved over wetlands, and built subdivisions in areas once considered unbuildable. The result, less land to absorb water, and more people in harm's way. Then there's infrastructure. Much of Liberty's stormwater drainage system was built in the 1960s and 1970s. Pipes are too small. Ditches are overgrown. Pumps, where they exist, are outdated or underpowered. The town simply isn't built to handle the kind of rainfall that's now becoming common. And finally, there's climate change. According to the National Weather Service, intense rainfall events in Texas have increased significantly over the past 30 years. What used to be 100-year storms are now happening every 5 or 10 years. Warm air holds more moisture, and when conditions align, it dumps that moisture fast and furiously over towns like Liberty. After Hurricane Harvey in 2017, billions of dollars were promised for flood control in southeast Texas. Some of that money reached Liberty County, but residents say it hasn't been enough, and it hasn't been fast. The proposed Attention Basin project was stalled due to land rights issues. A levee expansion plan was shelved due to budget overruns. Meanwhile, the floods keep coming. It feels like we're disposable, said DeAndre Lewis, a high school teacher whose home has flooded twice. They talk about Houston all the time. But what about us? What about Liberty? We vote. We pay taxes. But we keep getting hit and forgotten. The emotional toll is mounting. Some families have moved away entirely, abandoning homes that are now worth a fraction of their original value. Others can't afford to leave, even if they want to. Flood insurance, once optional for many, is now required in wide parts of town. Premiums have risen sharply. Some residents are paying over $3,000 per year just to stay protected. But that protection only goes so far. Payouts are slow. Rebuilding is exhausting. And there's always the next storm. Mental health professionals report growing anxiety and trauma-related symptoms in local clinics. Children are showing signs of flood-related PTSD. Elderly residents feel trapped, both financially and emotionally. Despite the hardship, Liberty hasn't given up. Local churches now operate volunteer rescue groups. A network of storm watchers on social media tracks river levels and rain gauges, alerting neighborhoods in real time. A youth group runs a community sandbag station each spring. We're tired, but we're not helpless, said Pastor Ray Miller, who helped convert his church into a shelter during the latest flood. We may not get help from Austin or Washington fast enough, but we take care of each other here. There's also hope on the horizon. In 2024, Liberty was added to a federal flood resilience pilot program. Engineers are conducting new topographic surveys. A regional task force has proposed a multi-town drainage plan, including retention ponds and buyouts of the most vulnerable properties. But even optimistic timelines stretch years into the future. Residents must still face each storm season with uncertainty and prepare for the worst. Liberty's story is not isolated. Across the state, more than 3 million Texans now live in FEMA-designated flood zones. From Dallas suburbs to Gulf Coast towns, the same themes repeat. Fast growth, old infrastructure, unpredictable weather. The systems built decades ago were not designed for climate today or the storms of tomorrow. This isn't just a local issue. It's a statewide challenge, said Dr. Hannah Leal, a hydrologist at the University of Texas. Unless we rethink the way we build, drain, and protect our communities, we'll keep seeing this cycle. Flood, rebuild, repeat. Liberty, Texas, is still drying out from its most recent flood. Families are repairing walls. Businesses are replacing ruined equipment. City crews are clearing debris from clogged drains. But the clock is already ticking. Another storm season is coming. Another round of rain is inevitable. The people of Liberty aren't asking for a miracle. They're asking for action, for smarter planning, for stronger infrastructure, for their town to matter as much as any city skyline. Because they know one thing for certain. If nothing changes, they'll be flooded again,